Got it. Hey, keep it down. How's it going, Cassandra and Amy?
Hi there.
Welcome. All right, I need to put my 2 seconds up there. Just give it a second for everyone to join.
Hey, good people.
Hey,
How you
Jamie,
doing?
how are you?
Good, thanks.
I feel like I read this book ages ago, but not really. Like it's only a book and a half ago.
Definitely not one you want to revisit.
Yeah, and that's probably why, like, because it was so heavy and everything I'm reading. Well, I'll say the last book I read was kind of heavy too. The I'm Glad My Mom Died. That was
Oh, I heard about that one.
the girl from iCarly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is crazy. So I need to actually, I forgot that the Red Table Talk came out today. I need to go back and watch that because
Oh, is she on there?
yeah, today they just kicked off the season and she's the
Oh.
guest for today talking about the book. So I was like, perfect timing because I
Oh,
just finished
wow.
it like Tuesday or something like that. So, or Monday I finished the book.
I think I'll watch. I don't know if I could read it.
Uh, it's
Such an
heavy
empath.
in
Is
this.
it? I was gonna ask, is it like one of those triggering, kind of just
It can
sorrowful,
be.
or?
It can be.
Mm,
If you suffer from eating disorders, it could be.
okay, got you.
Just her mom's mindset of in order for you to make it, you must be this way. And so she projected these insecurities onto her daughter and just spoke to her in a way like you should never speak to anyone, period, but your child especially. It was just and it after her mom passed, it like carried on with her as an adult and she struggled through all of this. So it's crazy.
Wow.
Yep, just letting all the ladies in. Right now I'm reading If the Shoe Fits. So that's part of the Meant to Be
A lot
series.
lighter.
Man, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's so cute. It's like Cinderella's story, but she's on a reality TV show. And you know, I
Okay,
watched The
right up
Bachelor
your
and all of that.
alley.
Yeah, so I'm like, I watched The Bachelor, so it's like, the book was really good too. So I'm really enjoying this one as well. Just trying to give it another second. There's still some people coming on. I think we have some regulars that might be coming on a little bit late. Welcome, everyone. Today we will be discussing Nightcrawling by Leila Mottley. So for me, I mean, I knew that it was an Oprah's book club pick and that it's a bestseller and all of that, but I went into it blindly. Like, I read the description initially when I had decided that I was going to choose it as, like, I wanted to see what all the hype was. Why is everybody, so about this book? Why is Oprah picking it? Why is it a bestseller? So I had initially read it back then and was like, okay, well, it probably will be a good book to discuss for book club. I'll check it out. But that was a while ago. So when I went into reading it, I didn't read the description again. And so, yeah, it was
I
quite the
went in
book.
way blind.
Man, it was like, and then the initial scene, like with the swimming pool, it was like, and
Yeah, I have a lot to say about that pool. I can't wait till we get into it.
Yeah, like, yeah, because there were so many things that happened in that pool throughout the story, and it was kind of like,
I have not rated it because I don't like giving horrible ratings, and I just feel like if you can't say anything nice,
don't say anything at all.
I just, yeah. I just don't even know how to feel about it. And I feel like I may be the exception. I don't know. I want to see what you all
Yeah, I
feel.
think
I'm like, is everybody gonna be like, oh, it's so good, I loved it.
I love her writing style. I will say that. I know she
Mhm.
was like an award winner for poetry, so you could kind of see that
You
in
could
her
tell.
writing. It was real smooth the
Agreed.
way that, yeah, that she wrote her
Yes, I
stuff.
did
So
like that.
I really love that part about her. I really like her as an author. Her writing style. I guess this for me, I was just like shocked at a lot of the stuff that happened. It was, I mean, I know like everybody has hard times and stuff like that. I just can't imagine being in that place where you have nothing left and like that's what you have to do. And I was kind of disappointed, not kind of, I was very disappointed in her brother, and the fact that after all of that stuff happened with their mom, it was kind of like he was just giving up on the world. And then, I mean, well, he wanted this rap career, but that was his sole focus. Like he wasn't really taking care of his sister. And then she had the responsibility of taking on the neighbor, the little boy. And so that's like for a 17-year-old, that's just a lot to take on. And I think for me, the most shocking part is getting towards the end and finding out that this is based on a true incident that happened, not to
It
a
was?
T, but oh yeah, this was based on a true story. Hold on, I gotta
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah,
makes it so.
where
Oh,
the police were basically blackmailing a teenage girl for, it was the same sort of scenario.
oh.
It was multiple, right?
I think so.
Multiple girls.
Yeah.
In the
Multiple girls
same,
involved.
yeah.
Yep.
And I need
Yeah,
to
they did
find
kind
it.
of allude to
Yes.
that in here that it was other girls.
Yeah, it was in
That's not
Oakland.
shocking, but
She said in 2015, when I was a young teenager in Oakland, a story broke describing how members of the Oakland Police
I
Department
did
and
read that.
several other police departments in the Bay Area had participated in the sexual exploitation of a young woman and attempted to cover it up. So this one sounds like it's just one.
Yes, I
Oh, wait,
did
but it does
see.
say this case developed over months and years, and even as the news cycle moved on, I continued to wonder about this event, about this girl, and about the other girls who did not receive headlines. So yes, it was basically like there probably are others that just didn't get
The news coverage.
Yeah, it's just a sad
If it was
situation.
specific, then I guess because that particular girl's name was mentioned,
Was
if
put out
that
there.
detail was true, right?
Right. And then that's kind of what happened in the book, was she was the forefront of what was happening. So yeah. General thoughts about the book? Was it a yay, nay? Was it triggering? I know there was someone in the group who like had to put it down in the place that she was in and just could not read it. So I know for some it was triggering, but what were y'all's overall thoughts?
It was just a lot. I thought it was very unrealistic that she had to go through all of this and she let her brother off the hook. If that was in real life, it would have been like, no, you're gonna help me. Yeah, who's gonna sit and feed you and make sure you have a roof over your head and let you go for a rap career, especially when they know it's not gonna go anywhere. She didn't sound like she believed in him at all.
And I think for me, if I was thinking about that in her situation, like I either would have spoke up before it happened, which I guess the first time was kind of a fluke, right? Like she was just expecting to go back to this man's apartment and have sex with him, and that was a done deal. And then he offered to pay her, and she was like, I can make money off of this. Like, so she, a light bulb went off, and that was her way of making a living. But for me, it's like at some point I would have spoken up to the brother and been like, hey, this is what I'm out here doing while you're BSing in the studio. I'm giving myself away to these people, or prostituting myself. I wouldn't say giving away, but for a fee. But yeah, or even the guy that she kind of had interest. He was from the studio too, wasn't he? The one that
he had
and I'm
interest.
surprised he didn't say anything. Like, I'm like, come on, man, you see what this girl is going through.
But he low-key did when he was like, would you let me take care of him? But then you found out later on that she was really interested in the girl, and that's why she was like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah,
right. A little detail
relate to that cycle of poverty to say
like, why didn't they do XYZ? Like, they were so deep in it.
That's true.
And to not have anybody that they could rely on, like nobody at all. I do think like for me personally, yeah, if my brothers ever found out that I was doing some shit like that, it would have been a listen.
Right. You can't do that. I need to get up off my ass and do something. Yeah.
Like,
But when you don't have an alternative,
yeah, like when your brother,
there.
like nobody has an alternative. Your brother is already like his mind is already gone because I'm also thinking something happened between him and that uncle. There were certain things that were said about that relationship that something was up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes when you are, to your point, I like that when you are that low, like it just seemed like they was as low can get with the mother, dad, everybody's gone. His whole, I feel like the brother, as unrealistic to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
He needed something to hope, like that was his only, like that made him feel like there's a chance that all hope isn't lost, to hold on to that, having seen that uncle did do it successfully. Right. So I feel like maybe that was his, I'm trying for us. Like, I am trying to get us out of this. Like, this is what I know to do.
Yeah.
A detail that I wanted to know if anybody else felt was when they talked about the shit in the pool in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
It was like, they kept referring to it as like, oh, this shit pool or whatever. I'm like, how for her to have made such a big deal with the mom and the sister, which I understand, her sister drowned in the pool. Why are you so concerned about the shit in the pool and not the fact that I'm not getting in the pool because that's where my sister drowned?
Yeah.
I was like, are we not like concerned that like you can get, I don't know. I thought that was weird. Like she kept making reference to like somebody shit in the pool, not like that's the pool my sister died in.
Well, that might have been
But
why.
I think, I was just about to say, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Cameron. But I think we're saying the same thing. Like, this is how I have to associate this pool. I cannot associate it with this other. It's bad enough that it was full of dog poop.
Literally everything that happened in the pool, except for like going towards the end with Trevor, everything that happened in the pool was shit. Literally. It was shit in the pool, and everything that coincided with the pool was also shit. Both.
Right. Did everybody get the ending that I got? Like, did everybody conclude
when they were swimming through it?
No, I thought they killed themselves. I thought they drowned.
I was confused
because of the beginning reference when she was like, I'm not scared of drowning. You're just going back to water.
It's already.
Then it was like the water swallowed them because they were like, they were laughing. They dove deep. So I was like, did they just kill themselves?
Yeah. And
because she didn't want to go to prison. He didn't want to go back to the foster home.
It said something about like they opened up their arms and accepted the sun or something like that. Something weird.
Or the water, let the water swallow them up.
I did think that for a split second, but didn't they?
Very last few sentences, because that's when I shut the book and was like, okay, I'm done. This what like.
Sorry,
but didn't she later say that he got on the bus going back to where he was
You're
going?
Nicole.
No.
So she said, I'm gonna have to put him back on the bus eventually to send him back to where he came from.
That was before they got that was before he started undressing and got in the pool.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought they did kill themselves.
That's what
that last Trevor and I finding our laughter, just like Dee somewhere in the beyond, screeching out this moment of delirious joy, letting the water swallow us.
Yeah.
I
was glad that was the last sentence because I was just like, I felt like Anna, like throwing this in the trash. Like,
I know, I kept saying like, like, how much more can happen in this book? Like,
right. And
I was on 1.55. I was really trying to make it.
My face, I just feel like I had tension in my face the entire time I was reading. Like I was not relaxed reading the book at all. I was so like, it wasn't bad at all. I was just ready to be done.
Yeah, I was ready. Yeah.
I felt like I had like either ants crawling on me or hands gripping me. It just felt really weird. I felt
like make it stop, right?
I felt like something was crawling on me. It just was too much.
Oh, every time they talked about the pool, I was like, I
Right.
can't.
Gross.
I
Like you just wanted to gag, right?
can't. And then she's like,
Yeah,
well, maybe
when
it's
they
going through the
jumped in the
filter. I'm like,
pool,
No, and then
yes,
she's
it
like
seemed
at the
like
end,
she was spitting water out, and I was like, "Ew, no, you're
You,
not."
yes.
and even at the end, how yeah, and at the end, how she's describing her and Trevor like smiling at each other, their mouths open, and I'm just
Yes.
like, come
All
on,
I
man.
kept thinking was, is the pool still filled with the
With
shit?
shit.
Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like the place is very well taken care of. So I can't see them getting it out of the pool.
Right. It said the pool was never cleaned and taken care of.
Yes.
So ugh.
But I think
Yeah.
that was you, Asia, who said when you read it, you were tense. I literally started it and then I put it down because I was like, okay, this is too much right now. Just right away, the incident with the dad, and then everything they was alluding to the mom, but we didn't quite get it. And then when she was like, I don't know, maybe this was just where I probably been reading too many books. The way she was interacting with the brother, I was thinking like the brother was like molesting her or hurting her
Yes.
in some type of way. Like it was just something about that whole relationship that was like, it's a little bit off. And then when she was doing all of that, like, cause I got to keep a roof over my brother's head, I was like screaming at the book, like, no, you don't.
Right.
Like, excuse my language, but I was like, that nigga can go out there. He want to be a rapper. Like,
Right.
I was so mad.
Yeah, I really thought her relationship, I don't know, with like this desire, or I don't know what was going on. It did seem a little weird that her relationship with him was off.
Their codependency, and I think maybe it's because he kind of saved her from being in the
at a young age.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was just 18, right?
Yeah, and she would have been like, I don't know, 6,
So they could
maybe
stay.
16 or
I think
17.
she's 15 or
So,
16, something like that. Yeah.
I think she was 14 or 15. I did think that was unrealistic. I was like, there's no way CPS is leaving.
They would have left her.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not
an
happening.
18-year-old. That wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
But the whole Uncle Ty situation, that bothered me so much because I was like, how was it that him and the daddy was this close and he just left them, like, regardless of what we eventually thought the mom did. Like, in my mind, I thought he would have been like, well, I really need to go get my niece and nephew, because the mom just flipped out and he just like left them and abandoned them. Like, that was just even more heartbreaking.
Twice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even at the end, like him posting bail, it just kind of felt like, here, I'm throwing you a little something, like here you go. And to me, it was like when he was like, my friend needs this more than I do. He has a family, whatever. I was like, you should have bailed out both of them. You know what I mean? Like, if you've got it like that, I just felt like you at least owe it to him to do this if you're not going to do anything else for these kids.
Yeah, he made it seem like he didn't have it like that.
He did. Yeah, he did. Like, y'all think it's more than it's all I could do to take care of my family.
Yeah.
But my thing is to pay the bail, but not pay.
I think he said that was for their vacation or something.
Yeah, he said he was taking their vacation money. But so you're telling this girl that her dad would be disappointed if he knew what she was doing, but yet you know why she's doing it, and your decision is to pay bail and not give her money to pay bills
to survive.
Get off the street.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that
Where's
pissed
the
me off.
accountability?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. That's why I said something happened between him and that nephew, because to feel like you would only help them via helping the nephew, that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because the brother, he was just saying, you owe me, tell him that he owes me. And I'm like, what's that about?
What's that about?
Yeah.
I thought that the whole time that they were leading up to that, I thought that they were going to come out and say, like, especially
He
when
got a secret, right? That he could tell, but he's not.
No, not even that.
Oh.
The way Kiara was talking about how the uncle and her brother sounded similar, I thought it was going to come out that the uncle stole the brother's music and that's how he came up.
Oh, that would have been a nice twist.
Yeah.
I thought that they were going to say like that's the reason why the uncle owed him, because that was actually his music and that's why he was fighting so hard to be in the studio to come up on his own. That wasn't the case, but that's what I thought for a while.
You could have wrote it. Yeah. That would have gave me something more than doom and gloom, at least a little different kind of drama. But
yeah. But I don't know, the last couple of books I have been reading has had a lot of like mothers making their daughters help them through this trauma instead of you being a mom helping your daughter. Like, cause that whole scene when she went to the halfway house and the girl had to force it out of her. Like, my eyes got like a little teary because I was like, why is the daughter having to be responsible carrying all this weight? Like, she's carrying the mother's weight, she's carrying her brother's weight. And I would have never thought it was the mother killed a baby. I never would have thought that was what the mother did.
And it was neglect.
Yeah.
It was neglect. Because I thought really she killed her at first, but then it was like, okay, she was trying to kill herself and just left the door.
And the baby just went out the door.
Right.
Yeah,
same.
yeah,
I thought the same. Right.
And taking care of the crackhead next door's child.
The child,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
She just couldn't catch a break.
No.
It was, yeah.
Not
Can you hear
anywhere.
me now?
I can hear you now. Yep.
Okay. I don't know why my box is not lighting up when I talk.
It is.
Okay,
It is for me.
Is now?
It's like delayed. Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Getting back to the uncle for a second, I was on mute. He favored what was the brother? He favored the brother, and I know that happens. It's like that in my family with some of my mother's brothers. They favor my brother to hell with the rest of us because they kind of grew up with him. So it's not fun. It's not nice, but it's how it is.
Interesting.
Yeah. Nicole, were you also reading I'm Glad My Mom Died?
Yes.
Have you read that? Okay, because when you said that, I was like, God, those were the two books I read back to back, and I was like,
Yes, I read
I
it
could
back
not
to
wait.
back, and I was like, damn,
I'm
mama.
reading them together, and oh my god,
I cannot wait for both of those to be done with, because I was like,
I gotta read like Care Bears after all this.
And right. Well, no, that's what
worst mom ever.
Yeah. Read the ones that I gave you today, the Meant to Be series. Those will be light. Yeah, those will be real light.
I immediately picked up that Kennedy Ryan book and was like, oh no, I need a whole palate cleanser. Like,
yeah, this romance from here on until the end of the month
until
when I have to read on the come up. That's it.
My other book club is reading The Water Dancer, and I'm like, y'all, I've read it.
Oh wow.
That's heavy too.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
it is so good, but yes, it is.
Because I don't know if you listen to Audible. I don't know. I read the book. I had the hardcover book of the Nightcrawling, but in the back in the author's notes, I didn't know that whole thing was a true, like with the police in Oakland. I didn't know. Police. I said, where have I been?
Yeah, that's what. We were talking about that just at the very beginning before you hopped on. But yeah, I was shocked to know that like listening to that, because I did the audiobook as well, and I was just like, wow, this is like based off of true events. It's just, man, it's like you already have a bad taste in your mouth with police anyways when it comes to Black lives and things, and then you just like, here's another level of how shitty they can be. It's just like, and of course it's, go ahead.
I've gotten to the point where they don't shock me with anything that they do.
They shouldn't, right?
Right. Yeah. But like the daughter, Kira, like when she first went to that bar and the man had sex with her that first night, I just, in the end, when her mother took her to the freeway and said, you scream, I think that was like the whole wrapping of the book. Because at first I was getting so frustrated, like, why she didn't yell? Why didn't she say, this man is taking advantage of me? Why didn't she say no? Why didn't she stop? But when they went to that freeway and she didn't have a voice, I was like, because she never had a voice. Her voice was everybody else's voice. She thought about everybody else. And I think the only time she felt free was when she was with that girl, Alex. Like, that's when she felt the freest. But even then, she didn't have a voice because she was trying to wrap her identity into her and do the things she wanted to do and where she wanted to go. But that's when I was like, oh, that's why she didn't scream. That's why she didn't have a voice. She couldn't say nothing. And I was just so mad. Like, why didn't she say it? Like, yeah, she should have yelled. And then he gonna wrap his little raggedy scarf around her neck. Like that was a token of affection.
Throw that thing in the trash. Like,
right.
Yeah. Polka dot.
Yes, polka dot.
Oh gosh. Yes.
Yeah, it was tough to read those parts with the cops and that hotel party, and he's holding a gun to her head, and I'm just like,
Yeah. I was
Mhm,
just about to bring that
mhm.
up. That was
being
horrible.
terrified, and then this guy's taking like raping, you know what I mean? It's just a lot going on. There's people watching you, nobody's help. You just feel helpless, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know, the cops are supposed to be the people that protect you, and it's like here they are taking advantage of you and just completely just
Yes.
humiliating
You have
you.
no one.
Yeah.
No. And then the one cop, I think he was trying to make her feel like, because I let you come to my house and laid in my bed and cuddle with you,
Here's your
that
payment.
right, like you are still something. It's like, no, because you still took advantage of me just
Right.
because you let me lay in your bed. Like that didn't make
And
me
that's the
feel
one that
any
killed
better.
herself.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At one
Yep.
point, they had they invited her to one of those parties, and then
Yep, and tipped her
I
off.
was like, he likes them young, and I'm like, well, dang, she's
Right.
16. How much younger you wanting?
Right.
Nasty.
Yeah. It's just it was a lot going on, a lot to think about, as a mother and kids, and just it just I would hate for my children to be in situations like that where it's a lot.
Like being here in Atlanta where sex trafficking is like out of control, the story of her friend's sister, like that just made me think about like just how like vigilant I don't even go out. I mean, I go out, but I don't go out a ton anymore. But just thinking about like just because of the news stories that you hear. I mean, even what just came across, you know, the runner in Memphis, it made me think about like just how in danger, like I don't know, the things that can happen, like how it just at the blink of an eye, how you just get caught up or you can get swept into these situations.
Yeah.
You can that you may not survive. It was,
and there's no age. I don't know if you
scary.
heard about the one on the news, the 54-year-old mother out here in
Wow.
Hateville that is missing. Like, well, she was missing as of this morning. I don't know if they found her, but 54 years old, leaving the bar in Hateville. I mean, that's just scary.
Yeah.
We
And
had
go ahead.
we had cases like that here in Wisconsin because it became huge here. And a young girl came to speak at our church, and she talked about the fact that the way the guy got her was because he came, and it was a white guy, and he would come to Milwaukee, which is our mostly African-American city, and he would go into the hood and find these girls who didn't have a lot. They might have been just sitting on their porch, and you could tell. And he would groom them by giving them little things like, you need money, you're not getting fed. And then she was like, every time he took her to meet dudes, he took her all the way to the suburb, and it would be older white men, white businessmen that were, and that's how he got her. And that's what I felt about her when I was reading it. Like, I could have been reading that girl's story from the church. She needed money. She had to pay her bills. Mama was gone. She was hungry. Like, that was her story too.
Yeah. And I think like with all the sex trafficking stuff that's on there, it's like, for me, the stuff that's coming out lately is hitting closer and closer to home. Like this girl just went viral on TikTok speaking about Gwinnett County, which is like the county I live in. And she was like, and then I forget what she said, something about like a silver Honda Civic or something. And then another person came on there and said, I was at the Walmart and that same silver Honda Civic was there. And so I posted something this morning, just sharing, I think the Brat had posted some sex trafficking signs to look for. So if y'all are on Instagram, look at her page because she posted some things, but it's like the zip ties or people trying to come up to you to get you to smell perfume. And then, you know, you're blacked out and just putting glass under your tire or money on the ground so you touch it. And then
cars parking right next to you. Like
yes.
right
And
next
that's
to
what you
you
got to
with
look at
sliding
too,
doors.
is walking to cars by yourself. If there's a gentleman parked next to you, like it's crazy. Like I'm definitely more aware, only getting gas in the daytime and making sure, you know, I'm not out late at night, and just I'm more cautious of my surroundings. If you see a napkin in your door handle, like don't touch it. You know, I'm just very aware of what's happening, and even to the point like
nerve-wracking. I have a 20-year-old daughter.
even to the point like I'm coming out of the gas station yesterday and my daughter's like going into her side of the car and I'm standing right there. I'm like, oh, make sure your ass gets in the car first before I do. Like, so I'm afraid somebody's just gonna drive up and snatch her as she's trying to get in there and be gone. It's insane.
It's like you're at places, like you said, a gas station, and I'm just like, I'm hella rude. I'm focused. I ain't talking to nobody. Don't come approach me. Back up.
That's me. Give me 50 feet.
Please. I don't care what you're selling. I ain't interested. Move.
Right.
You know, I'm in a women's organization and we have a building. We own a building. We have a door code, and then we have an alarm on the inside. The members have it. And I have had to say to people when we get inside, you know, I'm parking the car and they're walking up to the door, they're going, what's the code?
Oh gosh, like, yeah, let's yell it out. So,
right. The code in the parking lot. And I said, I'll be at the door in a second. And then we get inside and I go, I'm not gonna holler the code to you in the parking lot.
Right, where anybody can hear
around to hear. Yeah. Like it's a fair, I don't want to say it's a secluded area, it's a business area. And most of it's close in the evening, but you don't know who is around the other side of the building listening to that. Right. And y'all are hollering out, oh, what's the code? I forgot the code. Now, and I teach people how to do location-based reminders on their phone so that when you pull up to the building, the code will pop up and you can pull it in your phone. And so that you can have it when you get to the door, like that you're not fumbling and looking for this. And you're definitely not hollering out in the parking lot to somebody, what's the code? I'm like, people just don't think about small things like that. Like you're just ready for somebody to walk in the building with us.
Right.
Because we've given them the code by me hollering.
It's like that holding the door. Oh, my hands are full. Can you just hold it? Like, are you supposed to be in here?
Right.
But see, after reading books like this, I always get a little antsy. I have an 11-year-old and she doesn't look 11. You know, she looks a little bit older than 11, but I'm tall. Her dad's tall. She just looks older. And like the other day when I was finishing up the book, we were walking in the house and she was like, you go first. I said, no, you go first. She said, why do you always make me go first? I said, because if somebody runs up, I'm going to push you through the door and shut the door and you can take off running. And I'm going to fight as best as I can, but I'd rather them get me than you. And then this morning, I couldn't get in contact with her while she was on her way to the bus. And I had finished the book this morning. So all this stuff was going through my head. And I was like, I just read this book. So I'm calling. I called the school. And then she was like, Mother, you are freaking out for no reason. I was like, I just read this book. And the girl was walking down the street.
They don't understand.
Never mind the book. It's not for no reason.
Right. They don't understand what 10 minutes of no response can feel like to a parent. Anything's going through your head. Are they kidnapped? Did they make it off the bus? Did they do this? Like
20 years.
Yes.
I'm like 20 years because you let your phone die. Like, just
right.
You know what?
Right. And like everything y'all was saying about the trafficking and all, my little sister is 17 and she was staying here this summer. And one day she was like, I'm going to whatever with my friends. And I called my parents. They're like, yeah, that's so-and-so, that's whatever. So when they got here, when they pulled up in the driveway, I walked out with her and she was like, oh my God, why are you following me? I was like, because I want to see who was picking you up. And I was all in the car like, hello, who's in here? And it was like the aunt of the girl was driving them. And I was like, okay, nice to meet you, Auntie so-and-so, whatever. But no, you think I'm just going to let you walk out of here? And not
so many pictures
who's in the car?
I have so many pictures.
See me and know that
somebody's
somebody's looking
crazy
for this child.
I'm taking your picture because I'll be able to be like, this is who she left with.
Right.
Right. That part.
Silver Malibu.
Like, that's so weird. You're so weird. That's creepy. Whatever.
That's exactly what she said. She was like, oh my God, you're so weird. Why are you following me? I was like, because I need to know who's in this car.
Right.
You're not leaving my house.
I mean, I used to do that.
See who you're leaving with.
Yeah. I used to do that going on dates. Like, hey, this is his Tinder page. This is his name. This is where we're meeting. Here's his phone number.
That's right.
Whatever you need.
I was so embarrassed because my husband and I met on Twitter. On Tinder.
Yeah.
And my first date with him, I didn't want to tell my girlfriends because I thought they were going to be like, oh, you're crazy. So I had a guy friend who was on Tinder. So I told him, this is his name. This is where he works. I don't know what kind of car he drives, but I think he does, and he's like, got it.
Right.
Boom.
I'll show up tomorrow.
Got it. Let me know
I
if I
still
need
do
to
that
show
when
up.
I go on a date with a new person. This is let me take a picture of your license.
Right.
Hold on real quick. Hold on. I need to see your license. Why do you need to see my license? Because I need to know that you are who the fuck you saying you are. Excuse my language, but that's the truth about it.
Yeah.
You're trying to be playing these games.
There's a podcast that I listened to, Getting Grown, and a few weeks ago they had they had a guy on there who does like the safety classes for Atlanta. You listen?
Oh, I listen every Saturday. They are my BFFs every Saturday. I listen.
That was such a good podcast. If I'll find the episode and add it to the
please
group.
share it because I'd love to listen.
It was such a good episode.
Preserve Thyself. It was from August 16th.
Okay. Yeah, y'all please share that in the group so we can
Yep, I'll do that.
Check it out.
A lot of like really good safety tips, but also just was talking about the things that as a guy that he does, because he's like, listen, I'm not about to be out here with you and your friends. Like, I'm asking you the questions that you should have already thought about, you know, going out with me, someone that you don't know. Like, did you do, like, here's this info, here's that info, because this is what you should be doing in general when you're going out with somebody that you don't know. So yeah, it was a really good episode to like just make, you know, put things back at the forefront that we sometimes get lax about.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that.
What's the name of the podcast?
It's called Getting Grown.
Getting Grown.
I love that. I'm at like, that's my Saturday or Sunday routine. I have to listen to that show every weekend.
On the other side of what we're saying, you made me think about you said from a guy perspective, having 3 sons. I have to have those conversations with, don't put yourself in the position that she can say whatever she wants and you can't. It's your word against hers, right? If you don't know this person, then you don't need to be alone, because okay, if she decides this happened and you're like, no, you didn't, then what?
Shoot, even the people you do know. So like yesterday I was taking Tinley to homeschool and we were trying to come up. So first of all, like the Nextdoor app, the Ring app, like this notification came in and it was like, what's happening in such and such a neighborhood? And I'm like, that's my neighborhood. Let me see what's going on. Right. And they're like, there's a whole fleet of cop cars, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, cool. It's probably on the outside of our neighborhood or something. I pull out of our driveway and I start coming down the street and I'm like, we have to stop. There's a fire truck on this side and about 10 cop cars lined up down the street. And I'm like, what is going on? And I'm checking the app again to see the updates. And somebody's like, yeah, crime scene investigation just pulled up. And I'm like, what is happening right now? So we have to sit outside for like 5 minutes till they clear up whatever so we can get through the other side. So I'm driving by and there's a guy getting arrested. Like they're putting the cuffs on him as we're driving by, and I'm like, yo, this is the dude I talked to at the bus stop. Like literally every day he would walk his daughter up, and I talked to him all the time from across the street. And I'm just like, I've seen him in the farmer's market and had conversations with him. Like it was just crazy to me that he was being arrested. And so I couldn't figure out what it was yesterday because it hadn't been updated. Because of course I'm like checking, like what is, and when I came back an hour and a half later from dropping off Tinley, the cops there were still like 4 cars and they were inside the house. So I'm like, did he murder somebody? Like, what is going on? And I saw a lady and some kids sitting in lawn chairs on the other side. I'm like, I know these neighbors ain't that like nosy that they're literally sitting across the street from what's happening. And then I realized when I came back an hour and a half later, she was still out there. That was his wife that was sitting out on the chairs, while the cops were in there doing whatever they want to do. So I looked it up today because I was like, okay, it should be updated. His reasons for booking were aggravated assault, willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, and misdemeanor. So I was like, but again, like I see this guy all the time, talk to him. His daughter's so sweet. She's special needs. Like it's just a lot going on. And I was just like, I can't. What is happening? It was just a shock to me. Like you just never really know what people are dealing with or who they truly are just from glancing at them for 5 seconds every day,
Yeah.
Yeah, Amy, I was thinking about what you said. And when our son went to his senior prom this year, we were waiting on the introduction to the parents because that's what we did. You about to leave the house with somebody, you
need to know.
And so I kept asking him, I said, well, when are you going to her house so you can meet her parents? He's like, we don't do that. Oh yeah, you gonna do that.
You do it.
So I saw the girl at work and I said, tell your mama to call me so she and I can talk before, the prom and all that, because I was like, I'm coming to pick y'all up to take the prom. I'm leaving with your child and you don't even know me.
Yeah.
Like, it was just too much.
I had a similar instance.
Predominantly white school, so all my son's girlfriends
Yeah.
lighter. So I really am like, listen,
You gotta be
we're not
careful.
about to- and my first question is always like, do they know you're Black? He's like, yes, Mom, they know. I'm like, okay, well, I need to talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, times were very different when I went to prom 20 years ago, but for those of y'all who live in Atlanta, I went with Wanda Smith's son, Tavares, right? He was my prom date. Yeah, Tavares Kennedy was my prom date.
Okay. Not really.
So, but the thing is Wanda was out of town and like, she was all like, well, I want to meet, you know, the parents and all this stuff. And he was like, chill, Ma, like you're doing too much, because he was 2 years younger than me. So as a sophomore, he was like, I'm going with the senior, like calm down or whatever. But that was the same thing. She wanted to know who she was dealing with, who her son was going to prom with. You know, we both played basketball, so we knew each other from that. But yeah, Mama wasn't playing. So very typical for parents to do that. But kids just be like, yeah, no, we don't want to do that. But we have to. We need to know what's going on.
And that's what I was thinking with this book. Like, how many people have failed these, you know, Trevor and Kiera? Like, I mean, from CPS, like, how did CPS not pick up on it sooner? You know what I mean? Like, where were the teachers? Why was nobody calling saying they weren't in school? I mean, even if you at the basketball court, you don't see him getting a beat down at the basketball court. Like, it's like they were failed from every angle.
Yeah,
do you think that there's just so many instant like situations like that it might be hard for them to pick out? And I know this book is completely different, but to me, like Where the Crawdads Sing, if y'all have read that book, she's out in the boonies, but like how long did it take? They only checked on her maybe once or twice.
My Father on Netflix. That happened here in Baton Rouge. That one is good too.
I need to watch that.
It's good. Like the dad basically kidnapped the kid from the mom, moved to Baton Rouge, and he was like an engineer going to work every day, but he homeschooled the little boy, never went to the doctor, never went to the dentist. The boy ended up killing his father. But it was like a whole pattern of isolation that they used to basically get him off. It's like,
maybe I did watch that, because that sounds super familiar. Yes, it did. And then he found his mom like forever, like she was
his mom,
looking for him.
They announced it on the news.
I did watch that.
That's my son.
Yeah, I did watch that.
Now I'm a teacher, and I'm going to say, like, my first year's teaching, I worked in a school where the student population, social economic, was extremely low. So I spent a lot of time in my 20s, like, concerned about kids. Like, you notice things, you saw things. And at one point, I had 3 students literally living with me, you know. And then after a while, it does start to, like, wear on you, and you know, I'm not gonna say it hardens you, but it just, you know, you're like, okay, how many more? And then it breaks your heart when the one that you didn't catch on to, something happens to that one. Then I went to a school where it was more uppity Black folks, and I didn't have to worry about kids like that. But now I switched to a different district, and I'm back with children where I'm looking at them like, I'm concerned. There's something going on with this kid, and I see things, you know. And so, like she said, reading this book right here, it put me back in that mind frame of, I have to be mindful now, because I'm back in a population where there are children who could potentially be kids that have been getting trafficked, or kids that are not eating. Because I have this one little girl, she comes in every day late, and if breakfast is done, she like tears my classroom up. And at first I was like, it wasn't clicking. Like I said, I spent 10 years working with more higher economic kids, so they didn't eat breakfast because they ate breakfast at home. So it was, and then when I started saving her snacks, I said, she's hungry.
Yeah.
And so, like, I can see like how after you've been in the system, like a Trevor could get passed over so many times, but Trevor broke my heart. Oh my God, he broke my heart.
Yeah, I've heard of those stories too from teacher friends of like them learning after the fact and then recognizing, you know, okay, we had class snacks and the little girl would always say, can I take half of mine home? You know, and not recognizing at that time, she's trying to feed the other kids. Or, you know, just small things like that once they actually found out what happened, that those things were triggered. Like you say, you got 30 kids in the class or 20, I don't know what the numbers are anymore. It probably varies per school. That's hard to keep track of. And I think too, I know we've had a case here in Baton Rouge recently of a 2-year-old that died of a fentanyl overdose. and that the father is now suing the Department of Children and Family Services because he's saying y'all should have taken him a long time ago. I'm like, but aren't you the one that they're charging like with the possession of the fentanyl? I mean, the mother's been arrested for it, but dad has been involved in some drug stuff too. And it's like, I'm going, where do we draw the line though of, okay, yeah, maybe if reports had been made, but we know that CFS or CPS, whatever you want to call it, you say, is overwhelmed. Like, where does your personal responsibility start, Dad? If you hadn't been involved in this drug culture, these drugs wouldn't have been in this house for this child to get to. And this was like the kid's third time overdosing in this time.
Wow.
Two.
Oh, dang.
2 years old.
People think that it's up to the DFACS office. I've only worked there for 20 years, so.
Right, there you go. I'm like, it's not, I mean, there's only so much they can come. They have I'm sure you have limitations on how far you can go until X. And so if you're not getting rid of the stuff that's in the house that is a danger for, you're not gonna get rid of it. It's a hazard for this child. I think he OD'd at least once. I feel like it was twice. And what happened was like the mom had been in jail for drug charges. She got home, the grandmother had the baby, and people were like, well, how'd the grandmother give back? Well, you don't know why she gave it back. Mom might have been like, give me my kid, you know, you never know. She gives the child back, and 2 days later, he was gone.
Wow.
A lot of it, the judges are involved in the decisions with the kids going back home, and a lot of DFACS gets a lot of flack. Like, we're public enemy number one. No one likes it. And a lot of kids go through these things because people, we live in this culture of people don't want to get in other people's business. I'm not telling, but that's what we need to do.
Yeah, because nobody
involved.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to say, like, this is supposed to be a system that, you know, the police are supposed to protect. The, you know, all these people who are supposed to protect. You know, either
well, like you said, Amy, the judges. I've seen judges send children back into abusive homes because mama went through anger management.
Yes.
And then the same stuff happens all over again. Or now it's the brother, or now it's whatever, these children that have been conditioned from this behavior that's already been there. Why are you sending this child back?
Right.
It just really depends, unfortunately, on where you are, who the judge is, and it's unfortunate. I've seen it work, but I've seen it not work. I've seen some really, really, really heartbreaking. Trevor, his case was mild to some of the things
considering.
I mean, not to downplay. I know it's just a book, but not to downplay what happened, because I knew it. Reading the book, I knew. You know, working for them. Yeah, that he's going to be taken into foster care. I already knew it was, but it's y'all couldn't imagine what some of these kids go through. And most of the cases are women and their boyfriends. Y'all wouldn't. These women choosing their boyfriends for their kids. And I remember one case in particular, I wanted to strangle this girl. I just, if I could beat her down and not go to jail, I would have.
Yeah.
Because the evidence was there. Like, her boyfriend molested this little girl and they had the same STD. Come, ma'am.
Wow.
Ma'am. Yeah. Shit like that. So.
Yeah. And then there's the parents who know the system and are able to hide it. Like, I don't have any real life examples, but thinking of the movie Precious, like the shit her mama put her through, like that she was able to hide from DFACS and all kinds of stuff. Like, it's crazy.
It is. It's so heartbreaking. I am such an advocate for the kids that we serve. And I'm not just me saying that, like, I'm so for real. Like, I take my job so serious because I know firsthand what these kids go through. It's so sad.
We're thankful for what you do, Amy.
Very thankful, Amy. Very. And I think, like you said, I mean, there's no clear cut. It's dependent on the circumstances. And you also have to recognize who they may even go to, because that's been a case here too. Like, some guys like, why did this child go there? But you've seen those, the foster parents are no better than the real parents. They're in it for the check. And it's like this, I've seen that firsthand too, of a girl at church who was being fostered. Well, she wasn't the mother, the foster mother wasn't, but she was like, she can't go. She and my sister wanted to do something. She can't go. She was listening to that heathen music in my house this morning. Look how she's dressed. And I'm like, but she's staying with you. Like,
Right.
if you don't like what she has on, you should probably go buy her something different to wear and not demonize the child in her face about what she has on.
Yeah,
and so that immediately, I was like, you know what? Let's go. Let's go ahead and we're going to go to your Chinese food. We're going to go to the bookstore because the little girl told me she liked to read. So, of course, I took her to the bookstore. We went and got yogurt because I was like, you're in this house with this woman? Oh, no. Well, this doesn't seem to be a healthy environment that you're in.
What goes on in some of the foster homes.
Yeah.
You get out of one situation and get put in a worse situation sometimes.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate part of our job, because that's like my agency now provides oversight. So I've done the CPS part of it, and we're so hard reading the home studies for people that want to be foster parents. And the agencies that are over them doesn't understand. And I'm like, y'all just can't get people off the street and then foster our kids.
Right. Yeah.
Because like some people feel like, oh, I go to church, I'm a Christian, and so.
Correct. That's exactly how I felt about this lady that day. I'm like, now you're supposed to be modeling God for this little girl. But this is not the God that she needs to see.
Right. Yeah. That part.
A judgmental.
Look,
the way she said to that child, look how she's dressed.
Yeah.
What's she supposed to do?
Right.
Yeah. It was disgusting.
Tough times for sure. Tough circumstances.
My cousin wants to read Nightcrawling, but she's reading Monday's Not Coming right now. And I told her, I said, oh
gosh.
Don't do those back to back.
Yeah, them two back to back.
I said, no. She said, why? And she's almost finished with Monday's Not Coming. And she was like, because she had a rough upbringing. And she was like, I just keep crying. I said, yeah, you don't want to, don't add this one to the mix. I said,
yeah, space it out for sure.
Gonna make it worse. I said, give it about a couple months and then read this one.
Yeah.
I saw one of my students reading it and I was like, how far have you gotten in that one? He's like 10 pages. I said, okay, we'll talk when you get towards the end of it, because you might need somebody to talk to.
Yeah. About what's happening.
Yeah.
It's heavy. Heavy. Yeah, I think that's why like I'm reading romance right now, and why I'm loving it so much and talking about it so much is because the last two books I've read, like I'm glad my mom died and Nightcrawling back to back. It's just heavy, and I'm so glad to be done with it. I'm like, I'm reading romance. Romance is key for me. I gotta stop reading other stuff.
I was getting ready to read Take My Hand. I think that's what it's called, Take My Hand. I was getting ready to read that, but I heard that was a heavy one too. So I said, no. So I'm actually reading Tiffany Jackson's new one. And it's supposed to be
the Halloween one?
Yes, it's supposed to be a thriller. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give y'all a little spoiler. It's gonna be October's book, so be ready.
Oh, okay.
Well, then maybe I'll put it to the side and I'll
it's totally up to you. I mean, but yeah, because I was going back and forth between On the Come Up, because that's our current book of the month for September, and we did Angie Thomas like way back in the beginning, like the first 3 or 4 reads that we did, and I haven't done her in literally almost 5 years. So I felt like it was time, and plus with the timing of the movie comes out the 23rd, I believe that's a Friday. I wanted to kind of highlight her book. So yes, we will be doing 2 young adult, but then Tiffany Jackson's book came to me and I was reading the description and I'm like, oh, this sounds good. So I was kind of going back and forth as to which one I wanted to do when. So right now, so we'll do On the Come Up. October will be Tiffany D. Jackson's. I've pushed The Color Purple to November. So we'll do a reread of The Color Purple. It's always a classic. Which one are you saying Woohoo to Keela. And then December, I don't know, but I'll probably try to go back to like a Christmas romance like I did
We
last
need
year.
some romance or something.
Yeah.
In December.
I know, I'm like heavy thrillers, heavy.
Yeah.
So we'll find, okay, Tiffany's book for October. Yeah, that one got me really excited, and I was like, it's perfect Halloween thriller, like no better time to do that. So we'll do that, and then like
What's
I
the
said,
name of that one again?
The weight of blood.
yes, the weight of blood.
Yeah. Okay.
And then The Color Purple for November, which I think will be fun to discuss. That one I've read it before, and I love the movie.
Yes. Because
So
the Color
super excited.
Purple movie always comes on during Thanksgiving. I don't know.
Good timing, yeah.
I swear. And we always play it during, I can't wait for Whiteout too, Keela. But yes, so when you
What
said
book
Color,
is that?
the sequel to Blackout.
Oh, really? Okay.
I like
my first time
Blackout.
hearing about it.
Me too.
It comes out next month.
Yeah, someone posted
Really?
about that.
Please, OP.
Did we read Blackout?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I couldn't. I know I've read it, but I couldn't remember if it was with us
Listen.
or what.
Can't add them YA authors a third month in a row. Can't do it. I love them, but I can't do it. And then again, like I need to find some type of romance again. They're hard to find, because a lot of these Christmas romances that are written by Black authors or are about Black people, they're usually some type of ebook, or like you can't get a physical copy. They're short like stories. It's just really hard to find the physical copy. Farrah Rashan has a ton of them actually, and I would really love to highlight her. But yeah, so I'll look through the list. If you guys have suggestions for Christmassy romance novels, I'm totally game. But I liked that last year when we did it kind of lightweight to end
As
the
long as we
year.
don't do Ashley Antoinette's Christmas book.
I've seen that in the other group, like the butterfly, and
If one more person suggests for me to read that, I'm like, no, I do not. Please stop.
yeah, it's all and Colleen Hoover. I'm like, I still have yet to read one of her books, but I watch all these other groups, and that's all they talk about is Colleen Hoover. They hate Jasmine Guillory.
I jumped on some of her books, but she is really like white people's trauma. Like her stories are very dramatic, and it's like, why is this woman falling in love with the man who abused her? And then she's like, I'm gonna give him another chance, but he just choked my life out. But I love him, and I'm gonna have this baby. And it's like, wait a minute. So yeah, she writes traumatic books too. I read two, and I was like, okay, that's enough.
I think during the pandemic, at the beginning of the pandemic, she had a bunch of her books for free, and I downloaded them, but I haven't read them. But I keep seeing, like you said, Renee, in those other book groups, they're like, coho this, coho that. I'm like,
she has a book on sale that actually sounded pretty interesting today when I was looking at, books that were on sale. It's called Leila. And
oh my gosh.
I might have that.
Leila.
I'm scared.
So
it's a scary book. Leila and Verity are her two thrillers, and they are very.
Yeah, but I feel like Leila is how they say it, underappreciated, and Verity is over appreciated. Like to me, Leila was way better than Verity.
I'm glad I got it then. Yeah.
It's definitely, I would definitely read Leila. I liked Leila.
Okay, so Leila's on sale. It might have been like $2.50 when I bought it, and then the audiobook was also, once you know how you buy the book, and then it's like you can add the Kindle book for whatever. It was like $1.99 to add the Kindle, the audiobook. So if you're interested, go snatch that up. I don't know how long it's on sale, but yeah, both the book and the audiobook are on sale.
The audio might make you want to throw the phone or something, because it's kind of like dry, but I listened to the audible, but I still thought I still appreciated the story.
Amy, I just saw your comment. I saw the other comment too about Tiffany D. Jackson having an event this Friday at Brave and Kind bookstore in Decatur. Amy, I see your comment about being in a romance mood. I'm telling you right now, I'm loving the Meant to Be series. I think Keela can also vouch for that series.
Who's the Meant to Be series?
So the Meant to Be series, the first one is, gosh, what is her name? Julie. I'm reading it right now. Hang on.
Julie Murphy.
So Julie Murphy, that's book one. You do not have to read them in any particular order, but they're Disney books, and they're based on different Disney storylines, but they're modern day. So by the book, you've probably seen us post by Jasmine Guillory. That one's based on Beauty and the Beast. So the main character's name is Isabel. She loves reading, just like Belle. She also works in publishing. And then like the starring guy is Beau, and how they come together. It's an interesting story. And then I'm now reading the first book in the Meant to Be series, or the collection, and it's If the Shoe Fits. So that one's based on Cinderella. The main character's name is Cindy. They just like make little cute references to like Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, or whatever. So like she has these little triplet siblings that are like real young, and they're like toddlers almost, and she says their name, she refers to them as her little mice, and their names are Gus, Jack, and I think the third is Mary. So it's like they're named after the mice. It's just really cute. And in the book, Cindy's a shoe designer because she's Cinderella. So, and then she goes on this kind of bachelor type dating show, and that's kind of what the storyline. I'm only like probably 30% in, but that's, you know, it's very good. It's very cute. Like they're not too like steamy, you know, whatever, but they're really cute modern day twist on these classic Disney fairy tales.
Yeah, that's the one where I saw you post that said if Tiana would have did something.
Yes, almost there.
Okay.
So I've not read, that's a whole nother like Disney series that they have going. So it's kind of like if Tiana would have chosen a different path, here's what would have happened. So it's like a rewrite.
It's like a like Wicked and all those kind of.
Yeah, but I don't think it's, well, there is ones with the villain, but I don't think this is that. I think it's just, it's very true to the characters and Tiana and the plot and being in New Orleans. It's just, if she would have chosen a different path, what would have happened? So that's kind of where these stories go. So they're very true to the book. And it's like Tiana's father's still alive, and what would have happened if she wouldn't have made this deal. Like it's just a different version of The Princess and the Frog. So I'm excited to read that one too, but more excited about this Meant to Be series. As I was telling Keela before the chat, that there's another one that's coming out next year. It's Kiss the Girl. So it'll be based on Ariel, which is one of my favorite Disney movies.
I have to check that one out. I read by the book and I love that one.
Yeah, so go for If the Shoe Fits. I'm loving it. I'm only about 30% in. I started it yesterday and I'm absolutely loving it. So I think you'll enjoy that one too.
Okay, good.
Oh, poor Keela. She said I would talk if I had a voice. Yes, and I would say that I love how the stepmom in If the Shoe Fits is very different. Like she's not an evil stepmother. She's actually pretty sweet in this one. So nice little twist to these stories. So anywho, ladies, I appreciate y'all coming on here and chatting. I have a softball game at 9:00 tonight, so I've got to get
I have to go watch Big Brother.
Yes, that's my show too. So I'll catch that in the morning. Everything comes on Wednesdays, like Real Housewives and what is that? Married at First Sight. Everything comes on tonight. So The Challenge.
Yeah.
All of the good shows. So I've got to run and get changed and get to my game. But as always, it's a pleasure meeting with y'all. I appreciate y'all being here. I think we were all pretty much on the same page as the book. Like it was good, but it was very traumatizing at some parts and just very unexpected. And really made you think about a lot of things, just everyday life and situations and stuff. Keila said, great discussion, y'all. Go fight, win, Renee. Yeah. Oh, and if I could show y'all, can you see that bruise on my arm?
Okay.
Yeah, that was last week playing softball. I had a collision with the catcher. So
wow.
we'll see how this week goes.
Right.
Who won the collision though?
Well, I will say I was out. Yeah, I was out, but she was on the ground and I was still standing. So if that, you know, as far as the collision goes, that's her.
Makes you feel a little bit better about being out.
Exactly. I was like, but it was kind of one of those last minute plays where she caught the ball right before I was about to step on home plate and she was in the way, and it was kind of like, I can't go around you. I can't go around. And it's just
gotta go through.
That's it. And that's all. So she was on the ground. Her face mask is now imprinted on my arm. And that's that. So yeah. But thank y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. I'm excited to talk about On the Come Up next month. I'm going to watch the movie before we have the chat. So then at least we can compare if y'all are able to. I think it's on Paramount Plus. So if y'all are able to watch the movie before, I think it comes out whatever Friday, it's the 23rd, I think. Yes, the 23rd. So it comes out then. So you have a couple weeks to kind of watch it before we chat. And so I will see y'all next time.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good night. Thanks,
Take
ladies.
care. Have a good
All
one.
right. You too. Bye.